Hey folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Wednesday, June 30th, 2010. Well, again, the last day of the quarter, the last day of the trading month, and here we are, markets trading basically flat on the day. And as I zoom in a little bit more, this is exactly what's going on today. And you can see the markets are trying to break lower here, and this is something we need to watch because, again, you had a little bit of an inverse head and shoulder pattern that again broke to the upside, and now it's borderline failing. And I want to show you this in a second. But first of all, I just wanted to bring your attention to the fact that the market, again, from yesterday's close right here, upticked, down, up, down, and basically staying on a sideways path all day. Much like what we talk about when the markets have a big day like they did yesterday, the massive selling that took place. Oftentimes you'll see a pause day in the markets where everything just goes to sleep. Now, there are a couple caveats to that, and I just mentioned before the possibility of an inverse head and shoulder, but now you actually have a head and shoulder pattern taking the place of that, and this is what's crazy. Take a look at this, folks. Here's your shoulder, here's your head, and here's your shoulder. All right, inverse head and shoulders. That's a bullish signal. Basically, you take this line right here and draw it, and you can see that we're borderline, if you connect the high pivot from the necklines, borderline breaking through and negating that. Now, the crazy thing about this is that now, because of this not breaking up and failing, you open yourself up for a possible move down to yesterday's lows. And that could be where we're headed here in the afternoon session. The one thing I'd like to also bring to your attention is that it's the last day of the quarter. You might see some end of quarter selling taking place at the end of the day as well, and that could bring this market down a little bit. And again, it looks like the market's just having such a tough time. In addition, while we have an inverse head and shoulder here, I want to show you something that's even more surprising. Taking away the inverse head and shoulder here, let me bring it away. And again, this is all hardcore analysis brought to you by InTheMoneyStocks.com. I want you all to be in the research center using that information to make tons and tons of money. Now, as I take away that inverse head and shoulder, take a look at what we now have on the charts. Up, down, and possible shoulder again. Possible head and shoulder pattern. So this is the opposite of the pattern we had before, taking its place, which is now a regular head and shoulder pattern. And that is a bearish pattern. And it looks like this is now broken to the downside. And ultimately, the target on this, guess where it is? Right here. Back to the bottom. Back to this low level here, double bottom from yesterday at 103.50. So very, very important to watch where this goes into the afternoon session. And it looks like just as I speak, the market is selling off, completing or starting to complete this pattern. The spiders have just gone to the negative side. Now, in any way you cut it, folks, the market's in a pretty tight range today. The market is definitely on a pause. We are seeing a lot of that here. Again, you upticked a little on the first candle. Then since then, you've just gone sideways, again, from a very, very tight range of basically a high of 104.75 down to 103.85 or so is the low of the day. And again, that's very, very key to understand how tight a range that is when yesterday we were in a 3 to 4 point range on the spiders, and today you're basically within a dollar range. And again, that's a 25% range opposed to yesterday. Now, again, a couple other things to go over here. First of all, let's just touch base on what the markets are doing. I want to bring that to your attention. And right now, we do have the markets lower. The Dow has just turned negative, down 21 points because of this little sell-off on this head and shoulder pattern. I hope everyone understands the inverse head and shoulders and then the regular head and shoulders that took its place here. And again, that tells us that there's possibly a little downside, and you are seeing that dump. But the NASDAQ is down just 3 points, and the S&P 500 is just down 75 cents. So again, it's a very flat day, but there are some key things we have to be realistic about in this market. First of all, yesterday was a brutal sell-off. No doubt about it. The S&P 500 did not take out or close. It did not close below the May 25th low, which is significant, and that has to be watched very closely. Now, we'll see again where the market closes today in regards to that. The other thing is, again, the end of quarter. You have to recognize it's the end of quarter. There may be some jockeying. There may be some unloading into the end of the day today, and that could be what's starting here as we inch towards the 2:30 p.m. time frame. Now, if we go to the 60-minute chart, you can just see the brutal hit. If you go a week ago from last Monday, so basically 7 trading days ago, you have this market trading up here at 113 and change. We now, yesterday, hit a low of 103.50. That's a 10-point move on the S&P 500. Well, not on the S&P 500, on the SPY, which equates to almost 10% drop in just a little over a week. That is a huge drop, folks. Any way you cut it, that's a brutal drop for this market. If you take a look at the chart here on the daily, I'm not going to go into it, but I want to show you how you're right in line with this little bit of a double bottom, triple bottom area, which again is the March 25th low on the SPY or the S&P 500. All right. Now, again, I won't go into in-depth on this analysis. You can see there's a lot of things that I've drawn on this. That's for the nightly viewers of the Research Center videos. Now, we'll flip back to the intraday. You're getting a small little bounce here. A couple stocks that are doing better today that have been very weak. Chevron is up 35 cents today. You can see even with the market kind of going sideways, this stock is actually angling to the upside. In fact, you can really draw a trend line. Look at this trend line. connecting the low pivot from yesterday into the close, this pivot, and right here, that's what's the support on that. If that breaks, by the way, you probably go all the way back here on the downside. But again, as long as that holds, you could see this thing continue to trade up. We are seeing some good strength in Chevron today, and even in Exxon up 27 cents. Now, it's not up a lot, but the markets are basically flat to negative, so it is stronger than the market right now. Apple Computer, folks, got hit yesterday hard. It is down another $1 today. Not a big drop today. Goldman Sachs trading basically near the lows of the day, down $1.30 on the day, and that is a key drop as well. Although, again, you're still holding above the daily chart pivot low right here at 131. This is a very, very important level, and again, the low of the day today was 132. You have about $1 more downside where you could get to before you start to hit some major, major support on the charts. All right, so that's what we have going on here. JP Morgan, we can throw up JP Morgan's chart as well. JP Morgan is actually up a penny on the day, basically flat. You can see it's bouncing back. That's telling me the spiders are most likely bouncing back, and sure enough, you're trying to get back up a little after dumping out here. Now, watch where this candle closes, because remember, the inverse head and shoulder is still alive and well, and so is the key head and shoulder pattern. And let me draw on the inverse right here so you guys have it. I want you guys to be fully versed and see how they overlap. So here's your inverse, that's bullish. Now, in between that, you have a regular head and shoulders, which is bearish. And again, that leads me to believe that where are we going to see this market go? It could be just a neutralish type market until one of these patterns really starts to play out either way in this market. And again, you'd have to figure that there's a slight downside risk because it's the end of the quarter. And again, maybe a little window undressing is going on here over the last couple days. That's what I would imply or think was going on. The dollar, if we take a look at the UUP, the dollar is down just 5 cents. You can see very, very volatile day on the dollar, very choppy overall, trading near the highs of the day. Granted, it's still negative on the day, but trading near the highs of the day. And of course, the GLD, the gold chart, basically flat to slightly positive on the day, up about 28 cents, while the USO, which is oil, is trading basically flat. Good rebound on oil after dumping out here kind of in the midday session and then rebounding all the way up. Other than that, folks, again, I strongly encourage you to join the Research Center. It is an unbelievable asset to any trader, investor, swing trader, no matter what you do. In addition, if you want that intraday commentary, live trade, play-by-play, you got to join the chat room. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of the day.